Hi, I'm back. This is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse. Okay, this is for all of you binge eaters out there. This is a client I've been working with over the past couple of months. She has had decades of binge eating, been to Overeaters Anonymous, has done a lot of work around her issues with food, but never really focused on her issues with her weight. Which is understandable because she's over 400 pounds. So most people don't question how she feels about her weight. They just acknowledge and actually agree. And so with that is a never ending battle with food. So in this 15-minute clip, I discuss the connection between feeling bad about your weight and then how that manifests in how you eat, especially because of the badness that you feel about your weight. Project into the need to restrict food. So how bad you feel about your weight puts pressure equally on restricting food, which creates the need to eat food in preparation for the diet or in feeling bad about not following the diet. So in this session, we're just going step by step through the process for her to understand it. Often I think people get so clouded by fear that has been thrown out there by the medical community about weight, not realizing that the more you feel bad about your weight, the worse your issues with food is going to get. There's tons and tons of evidence about that. And not only evidence of feeling bad about your weight, but when the doctor feels bad about your weight, you're more likely to experience abuse in the medical field, from the medical field. And that stigma then promotes the behavior of feeling bad, promotes the behavior of how you're compensating through binge eating. So, connect those dots. If you would like to watch the whole session, there's a link below to the Patreon account. You'll need to become a patron of Weight Loss Apocalypse. Donate $5 minimum a month. Some people donate more to support the work that I'm doing and the books that I'm writing. If you would like to work with me, there's a link to my website right there. Fill in the information request form. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, all right. Enjoy this session.
Stuff that I wouldn't dream of eating.
And it's not just something, it's a lot of it. So back up from there. So the bad feelings ultimately are, if you are to heal the body, if the body is going to be given the space to heal itself, are you aware that if you remove yourself, that the body could easily fix itself? Are you there yet?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, pause. Just keep it simple. Just stay with me. Like, I need you to really keep your clear thoughts. Just keep your mind as wide as you can as I take you through the simplicity of this. Okay? When you feel bad, what happens to your food intake?
It goes up.
And it goes up. It's like massive. It's not just I have a little snack. It's big. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and what happens to your food, your body? What happens to your body because of that?
It gets thicker and thicker.
And bigger and bigger. And now you are words around 400 plus pounds, 420, and it's going to get bigger and bigger the more bad you feel. Correct?
Yeah.
Isn't that what has happened? Is that not the
same?
Right? Is that not the witness of what you've been living for a long time now? Essentially, that is the foundation of this equation. I feel bad. The first thing I do is eat. And I eat in this. Would you agree that the amount of bad you feel is about the amount of food you're eating?
Yeah.
Okay, simple. Is that so simple?
Yeah.
So then from there you can say, well, there's a lot of things that make me feel bad. The doctor's opinion. I mean, if you were to say in terms of like dieting, don't all diets ultimately make you feel bad? It doesn't even matter if they're like therapeutic and simple and they're not even that big of a deal, right? It doesn't matter. It all kind of makes you feel bad. Something as simple as I've had fibroids. Here's a simple diet that might, it's never proven, that might, diminish the cause of what's going on. It's all. So go there. It's simple. You read a diet around fibroids, right? How did that make you feel the moment you read it?
Like I created the fibroids because I can't control my eating.
So just describe the feeling. Don't make it complicated. How did it make you feel? Did you feel bad?
At first, I felt better because it was a non-surgical option. And then,
as soon as someone says you need to restrict your food, how does it make you feel? It doesn't matter why. How does it make you feel? As soon as someone says we're going to restrict your food, how does it make you feel?
I feel a lot of pressure.
And then how does that make you feel?
I feel like I need to eat so that tomorrow I can start eating the way I'm supposed to.
Okay, so all of that comes from feeling how about your body? When you feel bad, what happens to your food consumption?
It goes up.
And it goes up massively. It goes up equal to your badness. You eat is equal to how bad you feel. Which ultimately, don't you agree, there is, in terms of the pressure to restrict, it's not just how bad you feel. Oftentimes it is logic. It's like, oh, I have to restrict those foods. I will eat those foods now before I restrict them. So there's logic in that decision. Yeah. So when we talk about your need to lose weight, your need, not my need, I'm not suggesting it. I think your body could do this on its own. It doesn't need you. It doesn't need that diet. It doesn't need it. All you got to do is remove yourself. Don't you agree? Right? We talked about that. If we could put you in a coma, what would happen?
I get so panicked because I think I'm going to kill myself before I recover. And my mind goes to this point, well, if I could just do this healing diet to fix all my organs for 6 months, then I could go back to, trusting my body. And that's where I go. I can't stop it.
So then what happens?
I'm just afraid.
That's fine. So what happens to your food intake once you do that? Once you go there, what happens to your food intake?
I end up binging.
So, can you afford to feel bad about your weight anymore? Just connect those dots. It is so easy. It is actually so simple. Once it's clear, the problem is it's just not clear to you because you continue to go back to the feeling bad about your weight. Every time you feel bad about your weight, it's amazing, right? It's so like.
It's not clear because what happens is it's not clear because I don't have the evidence yet.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's amazing to me that you just said that. It's amazing to me that you just said that. You've had plenty of evidence. Over the course of a month, your binging is significantly down and your weight went down significantly in a very short period of time. But yet you don't have evidence of that. Even though you have evidence of it. You didn't even, right? So it's really important that you really question your mind in terms of what type of evidence are you looking for? What do you need to have evidence? What is it that you have to? I need evidence. Well, the weight loss and the lack of binging wasn't enough for me.
Because it was followed by such a big binge.
But is it because? But hold on. Again, this goes back to: is it what you experienced in terms of the release from having to feel bad and how that impacted your lack of binging, or is it you going back to feeling bad about your weight that's the problem? There's so much evidence in the fact that when you remove the stress about your weight, what happened to your binging? When you removed the stress and badness about your weight, what happened to your binging?
It got less.
Isn't that evidence? Why isn't that evidence? When you felt bad about your weight, when that badness came back, what happened to your binging?
It goes up.
Is that not evidence? Observe it. Do you not see the evidence? It's right in front of your face. You have clear evidence. It's clear.
So I have to stop feeling bad about. I have to stop feeling bad about even if I overeat, I can't judge myself for it.
Well, think about that for a second. When you have overeaten and you chose to not feel bad about it, what happened? We have lots of recordings for you to go back and listen to. You want me to tell you what happened?
I'll go back and listen to them.
You have a lot. Would you like me to just tell you what happened? You didn't binge.
Yeah. Okay.
You ate the half a cake. You never finished the whole cake. Before you would have finished the whole cake, and it would have continued all day.
Yeah, because I decided that I was just going to be fat.
And you didn't feel bad about it. So the real thing is you did not feel bad. You didn't feel bad. So I think that's what needs to be clear for you, is like, when I don't feel bad about it and I surrender my weight to God, this is God's body. It's not mine anymore. I am going to surrender myself. I'm going to surrender my expectations. If my life is to be in a wheelchair, I surrender to God. It's no longer my burden. I am going to surrender this burden to God. People judge it. I surrender their judgment to God. It is not mine anymore. It is God's judgment. They will judge God. They judge his body. I am done being the God of this body. I can't do it anymore, because as soon as I get involved, I feel so bad. And what happens when you feel bad about your weight, about your breathing, about your fibroids? And are they yours, or is this the body's? Like, when you feel bad about the fibroids, what happens to your relationship with food? What does your evidence show you? When you feel bad about your weight, what is the evidence that your monitoring is showing you? What happens?
That I binge.
There's your evidence right there. Do you see the evidence? It's clear as day. As soon as I feel bad, I binge.
As I feel bad, I binge.
Feel bad. And it's not just in one way. You can see every angle of badness. It's from a variety of angles. It's not just one angle. Feeling bad about health, feeling bad about your life, feeling bad about your mom, feeling bad about everything. Anything that makes you feel bad, you have connected. I will feed myself and the badness will go away. But actually, when you feed yourself, what happens to your feeling of bad? I feel bad.
I guess the two big blocks for me is if I could just, it's not only surrendering, it's surrendering to feeling bad about my health issues. That's a big thing. That's a big thing, because that's, when I can't, and my leg, the reason I can't walk up the stairs is because my right leg is weak because of a herniated disc
in your back
issue in my back. And
so do you surrender that? You'd have to surrender that as well to God. You have to surrender this whole thing. To surrender everything.
And then it goes to, in order to strengthen all those muscles, the best form of exercise for me is water aerobics, which I can't do because I have a fibroid on my cervix. So there's always this chance that I'm going to leak, regardless of what
So what if
I've used.
why don't you surrender? Can you surrender that to God? Can you surrender that to God?
I'm trying.
Hold on.
I get scared and I take it back.
So then the fear has to be surrendered to God. Because what happens when you get scared? What happens to your food intake when you're scared?
I end up binging because I want to control
evidence.
my weight.
Oh my God, there's evidence for you right there. This is all evidence. When I have fear, I end up binging. And then I feel even worse. And then I end up binging. And then I feel bad. And then I binge. And all the badness goes into how much food I binge on. And then I have fear and I feel bad and I binge. And wouldn't you agree? Isn't that how you got to this physical state? Wouldn't you agree? That's how I got here. That's how I've gotten to be this big.
Yeah.
So that path is evidence for you. So, and what I'm saying is, when you stop feeling bad, when you surrender this to God, it is forgivable. You had no idea that's what caused this, did you? You were so stuck in it, so close that you couldn't see the whole picture. Correct? You couldn't see the evidence.
I get that.
Yes. So as you're getting clarity, as we start looking at this from a distance, you can see the evidence has been there. You just didn't see it. So it's so forgivable. You didn't know that the more you felt bad about your weight, the worse your food behavior got. And I want you to know that every single person I work with, every single one, has the same thing. The more someone feels bad about their weight, the worse the binging gets.